Welcome to the fourth lecture in Module 3, and in this lecture we'll add associations to our blog application. Now, because we use the scaffold generator to create the comments and posts, we have all the active record goodness available to us. What does that mean? We've got a SQLite database where we can store our posts and comments. We've got a connection established in our database.yaml file that allows us to connect to that SQLite database, and this object relational mapping that's a part of active records is there for us to use. However, there's one thing missing. We need to ensure that every comment we create is linked to a particular post. Now, we did make the connection between posts and comments in the database. Recall that there's a post ID that's a part of your comment. So recall in the comment database there is a post ID that is stored, and recall that we call this the foreign key that's stored in the database. So to make our models in Rails fully functional, we need to add associations to the models. In other words, each post needs to know the comments that are associated with it, and each comment needs to know which post it belongs to. And we do that with associations. In this case, there's a many-to-one relationship between comments and posts. A post has many comments, and a comment belongs to a post is the way you should think about this. And here we're showing the entity relationship diagram between posts and comments with a crow's foot notation that shows, again, there are many comments associated with a single post. And the post ID shown there as a red diamond, that is the foreign key, again, in this case, stored in the comment. Now, the Active Record module contains a set of class methods that you can use to tie these two together through the foreign keys. These are the various relationships that you can have and the terms that you use, the methods that you use within your models to tie these objects together. Let's look at each of them. First, the one-to-one relationship. If you have a one-to-one relationship between two models, you use the has one relationship in the model that doesn't have the foreign key, and the belongs to goes in the model that does contain the foreign key. The second one, the many-to-one relationship, is the one we're going to use. And the model that doesn't have a foreign key, in our case that's the post, uses the has many declaration. I'll show you how to use that in just a moment. And the model that has the foreign key uses the belongs to declaration. And finally, in the case of a many-to-many relationship, you use this very long declaration, has and belongs to many. And that, in this case, you're also going to need to use a join table. We won't discuss that right now, but take a look online or into various Rails documentation and you'll see how to create a join table using that declaration. Let's take a look at how we add these declarations to our blog application. Under the app subdirectory in our blog application, go to the models subdirectory and open up post.rb, and here is where we add the has many comments. Next, in the comments.rb file, we add the command belongs to post. Now this connects these two models. Now, because this is a one-to-many relationship, Rails uses the convention that the post is, because it's on the one side, is singular, but the comments is plural. Let's save both of these and now open up the Rails console, the IRB console, and see what this does for us, this connection. So I've opened up a terminal window in the root of our blog application, and now if we type Rails console, we'll get the IRB console preloaded with our Rails development environment. And I can use active record method to retrieve all of the posts that are available, and we're going to assign them into a variable called P, which is going to be an array. And so you see that there are two posts here, post 1 and post 2. And what I now have, I can index into the first post, post 0 in this array, comments. This is a new method that's now available because I've connected these two. So, and I can actually do comments.size to see how many there are. There are two comments available. You see them here. Here's the first, and here's the second. There's one more thing I'd like to do to the post class. Because comments are affiliated with posts, when I delete a post, I'd like it to delete all of the comments that are dependent upon it as well. So we're going to use the command dependent destroy in order to make sure that when we delete a post, it's also going to delete all of the comments that depend upon that post. So let's save this and again open up our console and see what this does for us. So running again Rails console, let's take a look at the comments that we have. So if we type comment.all, we'll see all of the comments that are currently stored in the database. And so here, the first comment is associated with the first post. The second comment associated with the first post as well. And then there are two comments. Comment with an ID of 3 is associated with the second post. And there's a fourth comment also associated with the second post. So if we type at this point, let's again first read all of these, load all of these into the variable p. And so now if I type p1 to get the second post, and type destroy, this destroys the post along with the comments. And to see that, let's again type comment.all, and you'll see that now there are only 2 comments. So not only was the post destroyed, there's only 1 post now, but also all of the comments associated with that post were destroyed. Let's quit the console and take a look at the routes that are now available to us. So if we type rake routes, you'll see that there are routes available for viewing all of the comments. This comment index we'll see is the controller action that's executed, but if you just type from the root of your application \comments or \posts, you'll get all of the posts. But what you'd really like to see is all of the comments nested under the posts. And in order to do that, we're going to need to edit our routes.rb file. The routes.rb file is under config. And so if we open that, we see that there are resources for comments and resources for posts. What this does is it creates all of the routes for index, edit, show, and so forth. All of the actions that are in your controller are handled by just typing resource routes. But what we want to do is we want to nest the comments within the posts. So this is how you edit your route to do that, your routes file to do that. So let's save this, and then I want to open up the web application and show you what you now have as a result. But before we do that, let's look at the routes that were created. By again typing rake routes, we'll see that there are new routes now available to us. We can type a post with a post ID, and again, we're going to do this as a URL, and then the comments, and it'll give us the comments that are associated with that particular post. Let's take a look how that works. We need to start the web server, and so we'll do that by typing Rails server. This starts up the web server, and now let's open up a browser and point it to this URL. We'll go to localhost 3000, and here is again the root of our Rails application. If we type posts, add this post to the end of our URL, we see all of the posts that are available to us. If we type comments, we'll see all of the comments that are available to us. And we can type posts, index one of them, the first post, and comments, and it'll give us the comments associated with the first post. So this URL is now available to us because we edited the routes.rb file. Now this actually breaks some other things in our view, and we'll have to see how we can fix that, but that's going to have to wait until another module. At this point, it would be a good idea to push our work to our remote repository. So to do that, we do git add dot git commit, and then let's add a message. What we've done here is we've added associations, And then we do git push origin master. This will push it to our Bitbucket account. And it's going to ask for our password in order to do that. This has now been pushed up to the Bitbucket account, and let's take a look at that just to verify. I've opened up my Bitbucket account, and you can see that the commit that we did that had the message added associations is now available at my remote repository, and it's also in my local Git repository. This completes the 4th lecture in Module 3.